Hey, what is up, friend? I am Ryan Coral from Studio Sherpas, and this is the Grow Your Video Business podcast, the show for videographers who want to build a better business, make a bigger impact, and enjoy the journey. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Core Group. Today's episode of the show, we talk about how to avoid the glass ceiling in your business. We talk about the difference between dreamers and maintainers. We ask the question, well, I'm going to ask it right now, which one are you? You got to listen to the episode to figure out. We also talk about how to unlock your dreams, avoid complacency, and take action in your video business to impact the world with the gifts and talents that only you possess. You're going to for sure walk away inspired. Ira is the motivation master, and he's also a documentary filmmaker, so you're in for a real treat. Speaking of treats, if you're on the fence about the Onward Summit that's coming up in October, it's going to be October 3rd through the 6th, I want to pull you onto the good side. Reach out if you have any questions. You can email me, Ryan, at Studio Sherpas. If this is the first time that you're hearing about the Onward Summit, you're probably newer to the podcast, so welcome to the podcast. The Onward Summit is taking place in Lake Orion, Michigan, and it is an event for filmmakers, for corporate filmmakers, people that desire community networking, value growing in their video business. We're going to have speakers, panel discussion, countless networking opportunities, along with some built-in fun. Yes, it will be fun. And also focus time to really help give you clarity on the next steps for your business. If you haven't ever had that opportunity to step away from your business for a day, for a couple of days or whatever, this is a great chance for you to be able to work on your business and not just in your business, and to do it with a lot of other people that are struggling with some of the same things, that have overcome some of the same things that you're working through and on. We've done this event before, and the tribe that we've cultivated it's full of people that want to give value to each other. So I urge you, if you're just I'm not sure, it's going to be a safe place. It will be a great place for you to connect and actually make some friends in this industry. If you don't have some, people from all over the country will be here, and it is going to be awesome. So you can find out more information if you go to studiosherpas.com/onward, and that is for the Onward Summit happening, again, October 3rd through the 6th. Now, let's hear a word from our sponsor, Core Group, and then we'll get into the episode. If there was one thing that could have ended my business 17 years ago, it would be because of the numbers. I hate accounting, taxes, W-9s, W-2s, WD-40s, spreadsheets, all of that stuff. And I hate it mostly because I'm afraid of it. I'm just not great with numbers. If this sounds familiar, or if you're so new in your business that it's not even on your radar yet, you need Core Group. Core Group can help you create financial systems and tax strategies that you need so you can grow profitably, and they've been doing this for over 20 years. They become an extension of your team so that you can stay in your lane of expertise and then lean on them to help guide you along the way. For me, having a team of experts in my corner to help keep track of our books and just to make sure that we're budgeting for taxes appropriately, to have an actual strategy for our taxes and our accounting is priceless. And it allows me to sleep easier at night, knowing that I don't have to be an expert in that arena. If you want to avoid surprises in your video business, and you want experienced help building a plan for the future that you want, both professionally and personally, head over to studiosherpas.com/core for more information. And when you're ready to set up a free consult with them, make sure to mention Studio Sherpas for a special discount too. Got your back. Get more out of your accountant. Go to studiosherpas.com/core. What is up, friends? Hey, welcome to this episode. I'm Ryan Coral, and my guest today is Ira Davis, who is the CEO of the DreamDiver Company. Somebody who is familiar with this show, who actually was on the show almost 1 year ago, if you can believe that, Ira. Welcome back, man.
Whoa, time flies. Last time I was here, we were locked down, in quarantine, running for our lives. Wow. Man, Ryan, good to see you, bro. Glad to be back.
Look at us now, though. I forget, where in the world are you?
I'm in Southern California, bro.
Okay.
So somewhere between LA and San Diego.
Somewhere between there. You're not quite
Toss
sure
a rock, it might hit my window.
Well, so DreamDiver Company, what in the hot dog do you do? If you're a new listener, maybe you haven't heard the last interview that I had with Ira, bring us up to speed on the work that you do, my man.
Man, I love it, man. I'm a dream development coach, which means I work and train world-class leaders who know in their heart that they were born to do something bigger, more purposeful, and legendary with their lives. I literally help them discover their purpose, unlock and dive for their most audacious dreams to impact the world, and I help them become purpose-driven pioneers. And then we take them up to 13,000 feet, man, skydiving as a rite of passage to become a dream diver, where we destroy their biggest fears and their limiting beliefs, man. So we run this crazy enterprise that trains people like no other coaching and training company on the planet.
I love it, man. Your story is so great. You had time in the military. You got fired or something.
Woo. Man, I don't like the way you said that.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, Ira's journey, it really is an inspiration. The life that was spoken into you, even as you exited the military. I don't know how do you say that?
What do you mean?
Like
yeah, it's exited. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. When he exited, you're the guys that were leading you really spoke into your life and said, "Man, you have a gift, and you need to be speaking into the lives of other people." Right?
Yeah, man. It was crazy. So I wasn't actually fired, right? I was denied the opportunity to re-enlist, which means when my enlistment was up, they were like, "Hey, man, thanks. See you later, alligator." And which came, out of left field for me.
Yeah.
But I was a drill instructor. Prior to that, got into some trouble as a drill instructor, and couldn't rebound my career fast enough to keep up with the promotion cycle. And so when my 10 years was up, it was up, man. And yeah, I had some local leaders who saw greatness in me, even though the headquarters, Marine Corps, didn't see it on paperwork. They knew me. They saw me operating, and they asked me to do some things to inspire leaders as I left the Corps. Mm-hmm. And that transitioned into a whirlwind of a few things that I do now and beyond, man. So.
Yeah, I love that. That's cool. And so for our audience that they're filmmakers, videographers that are making a go at this business, you dabbled in that. You worked in that. And what does that look like today for you?
Man, I still do. So long story short, as soon as I got out of the Marine Corps, I knew I had this love for filmmaking. And I was the videographer with the Best Buy Handycam, shooting birthdays and anniversaries and things for family and friends. And the first assignment that I ever got right out of the Marine Corps, was to create. I was doing video production for mission-driven businesses, and that evolved into what I do now. That I don't speak much about because we're building an enterprise in private. Is I actually run a documentary production company still to this day. And we are working on funding films that will go to your favorite streaming platforms to inspire big dreamers to go after their dreams. And so that is an extension of my coaching enterprise. It's called 412 Studios. And so like many of you listening today, you're like, why is Ryan bringing him on the show? It's because I executive produce and direct films still to this day, man. So that is why I'm here. Ryan's not crazy. He's bringing you somebody who can speak your language.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing that goes so well with I love how in the video work, the film work that you've been a part of, that you're doing, and when you pair that with this idea of living out your dream, I just think that for so many of us, doing this work is our dream. Like, this is like the fact that we get to pick up a camera and film an important event or capture an incredible interview with an individual who might be, really old and not going to be around for a long time, to be able to help businesses make a lot more money, or to just capture things that become treasures for individuals, for families. Those are the things that get us excited. Those are the things that are like, man, I can't believe that I get to do this. And there are some people who are stuck in a 9-to-5 that aren't doing anything creative, that aren't flexing their entrepreneurial muscle. They have this strong desire, like, man, I wish I could be doing more than just filming kids' birthday parties. Not that, you can make a great living and a business, and
absolutely,
and some people love that. But, for most people, that's not their dream. But to be able to do this work, to be able to charge what you're worth, and to feel like you're making some kind of a dent in the world with your creative voice and your creative skills, something so many people want, and we want to do more of it. And even me, being 17 years in this work, like, I don't have it all figured out. And there are definite like ups and downs in the business and things that I want to do differently, and struggles that I have. So, people might look at me and be like, oh man, if I could just get where Ryan's at, then I'll really be living the dream. And it's like, there are people I look at, I'm like, oh man, if I could just do that or get to that spot, then I'll be living the dream. So, our definition of dreams and all that, it's different. Can you speak into any of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first of all, you have to understand that your path is your path. There are no two dreams that look alike. I don't care what planet you come from, or even if you graduated from the same school, no two dreams are identical. And so it's always unfair to compare your day one or your year two to somebody else's year 20 or year 50, right? And so, Ryan, I definitely agree. I remember, because before I became a coach and a speaker, and I tried my hand at this filmmaking thing with no experience, no nothing. And I would look at people like Ryan Coral and say, good gracious, he's 59,000 light years ahead of me. How will I ever get there? But then I realized something. I realized that my assignment wasn't Ryan's assignment in the earth. I realized that the way I was doing it was not the way I was supposed to be doing it. And that my dream and my calling was different. And it was bigger than what I was trying to settle for based on what I saw in front of me in other people's life and journey, right? So I don't know if that makes sense to anybody who's listening today, but lots of you listening today are trying to fit in the mold of what you see instead of becoming who you were created to be. And here's the truth. Dreamers change and shape the world. Maintainers sustain the world, right? And so you have to ask yourself a question. Am I maintaining what I already see in this industry? Am I just trying to be 1% different or 1% more clever? Or am I going to change something by being authentically me and building what I want to build, not just trying to fit the mold of what is necessary, needed, or thought as being successful or great?
Man, that's amazing. You said dreamers change the world, and what was the one that maintained the world?
Maintainers sustain the world.
Oh, maintainers sustain the world. Oh, man. I don't want to be a maintainer.
Yeah, man. It's the individual who say, okay, I'll just do more of what's already been done because it works.
I'll say this. When you're just starting out, the best thing you can do is to look all around you and say, like, okay, who's doing what? Okay, yeah, I want to be able to shoot like that and edit like that and book, big jobs like that. I think that's good and fine and healthy and whatever, because you're kind of looking everywhere. Like, you've got to start somewhere and having some kind of like direction, some kind of a compass. So maintaining or like getting to a spot where you've got like that base, required salary so that you can make a living, like that's the first bar that I think we all aim for. But I think where what you're talking about comes into play is like once you hit that milestone marker, it's like, oh, I'm making a living. Then it's like, okay, well, what's the dream? Like you've reached this maintain milestone. Is this what you want with your life? Do you want to just like maintain? Like, yes, you are living part of your dream. But is that good enough? Is that big enough? When do you start like pushing in? When do you, Ira, start pressing people and saying like, is this what you think like this is all about? Like, is this where it stops for you?
I love it, man. Well, let's define dream, right? Let's define that word for everybody that's listening, right? We're not talking about cars, money, houses, vacations. We're not even talking about sending kids to college or being more financially stable than your parents were. Like, that's not the dream we're talking about, right? The definition of a dream that we use here at the DreamDiver Company is simple. It's the thing that you must do, become, or create in order to fulfill your purpose. Like, it's literally a vehicle. It's the largest vehicle that you can create that will literally allow you to fulfill the assignment and solve the problem that you've been called to put on this earth. Literally with the mindset that you have a blank check and unlimited resources, right? That's the dream we're talking about, right? And so for those of you who are listening, it's true that a lot of people will do like what I did. They say, okay, I have a love for filmmaking. I'm creative. I'm going to go out there and be a maintainer. I'm just going to do what I see everybody else doing, make some money. That's exactly how I started. But then an epiphany light bulb went off one day, and I realized that was a part of the journey, but that was not the sum total of what this was. This was an entry point to me seeing what was actually in me. And I got to a point when I was making videos for other people, and I realized, wait a minute. I want to make films that inspire the dreamers who then go out and actually create the purpose-driven businesses that I was making videos about. I want to inspire the pioneer who doesn't know that they're a pioneer yet, right? And so I had to reevaluate my perception of who I was and my perception of what I was supposed to be creating. And I had to take a step all the way back, reinvent what I thought I was supposed to be doing, and then move forward, right? Yeah. And so sometimes starting will inform the journey, right?
Yeah. I thought you were going to say something after that. I'm like, okay, what comes next, Ira? Please tell me. But that's the thing. It's like you don't learn until you launch, until you start the thing. You don't really know, and I think it's perfectly acceptable, and it's a great goal to strive for that, maintain, to get that spot. It's like, okay, like this is comfortable, but like when you're comfortable, then it's time to get a little bit uncomfortable and think like, okay, like is this all that there is? And I think so many of us have this glass ceiling. And when I first started my business, my glass ceiling was like, man, if I could my glass ceiling was really, I'm like, if I could make as much money as my dad did, and my dad worked for Chrysler, he was blue collar, so he didn't make tons of money. He made enough to raise 4 kids, and we lived somewhat humbly. Like I didn't have the super sweet Nikes that I wanted unless I forked over the money that that was me getting that stuff. So I had I had created this glass ceiling of like, if I could make that much, I'll be in a really good spot. And I didn't realize that everything was kind of built around that. So there was a period of like kind of maintaining and like, okay, this is great. And then when we had our second kid, it was like things just started changing. And my wife was like, hey, can you like get an office space and stop working at the house because I want more space and not as many employees or clients in the house, and this is awkward and whatever. And that was really when I was really challenged with the dream that I wasn't dreaming. I was just like, okay, yeah, this is cool. It was like I was living out a hobby, like the thing. I'm like, this is cool. Like I'm doing this cool thing video, and people were actually paying me. And years went by of me still being surprised that people were paying me to do video, and I was getting better. But I still wasn't like really taking the business super seriously, and and not thinking about like what else is there? Like is there a bigger dream than what I'm dreaming?
Man. We all have those moments where the epiphanies start going on, the light bulb moments, where we realize, man, that we've been playing defense instead of playing offense. Yeah, we've been trying to protect. We've been trying to protect our survival instead of trying to be pioneers and move forward. Yeah. And do what's next, right? Now, there's some people listening who are like, I don't know if well, let me tell you right now, if you're listening to this specific show, you have pioneer DNA in you some way, somehow. Yeah. Because if you didn't, you'd be working at somebody else's video agency, right? Working for them. So you have pioneer DNA in you if you're listening to this. And I'll tell you, man, one dream can change everything. One dream can literally change the trajectory of your life. And the truth is, I don't know about you, Ryan, but in my life, and many of the people listening today, you will never know who you really are and what you're truly capable of until you begin to pursue a God-sized dream that's deeply rooted in your purpose, and it's massively bigger than you. You will never know who you really are and what you're truly capable of until you sign on the dotted lines of life and say, I'm willing to pursue this dream that challenges me, that will change me, that will grow me, that will stretch me, that will literally cause me to have to become somebody brand new and better. You'll never know who you really are until that day.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that, man. I think the lunch that I had today with a mentor and another guy, we were just talking about, purpose and kind of like this like Insta family thing, like, making things look better than they actually are, or saying like, yeah, everything's great, and when inside, like, it's not, and you're maintaining, but you wish you were doing something else. You're not totally fulfilled. And it's like when you know and you're very clear on your purpose, and like you said earlier, not somebody else's purpose, not like, yeah, the life that Ryan has or the life that Ira has, that's that. Like, if I can have that, it's like, really, because we're all wired so differently, and there are different skills and people in our lives and situations and whatever that, the piece that I get isn't the same, the things that bring me fulfillment. It's not the same. I mean, there's similarities and there's crossovers, but if you don't truly know, I don't want this to sound like over spiritual or anything, but if you don't know yourself and you don't know like what the thing is, and you don't figure that out until you launch, until you start the business, or you take that big step, and then you realize like, oh man, I shouldn't be doing weddings, or man, I should never do another corporate video in my life. And you kind of, the longer you do it, the more you understand, the more you realize, the more you understand about yourself. But if you're stuck just kind of in this like, well, this is good enough, and I'm just glad to be doing this work, there's a whole lot you can miss out on, right?
Yeah, that's huge. The biggest problem that I see is that, and hear me when I say this, is that most people don't have an answer to the question, what's your dream? Outside of things, most adults cannot answer that question. They can give you a kind of like as, and they can give you all these runaround answers, but they can't answer the question. What's your dream? What are you building? What are you becoming a part of that will help you fulfill your assignment in the earth without putting limitations on it? Most don't have an answer to that question. And here's the truth, Ryan. Dreams are essential as oxygen. Without oxygen, man, your body dies. And without a dream, your spirit dies. It's that simple. And so when we are going through life putting a check in the box, and we are not growing, building, stretching, becoming, our spirit starts to die a little bit every day. Because we have been designed to create. We've been designed to grow. We've been designed to build and to be creative. And so when we fall into these check in the boxes just to survive and get beyond where we come from and the things that we were accustomed to, just so we can say, I had it more than my dad or my mom, or I sent all my kids to, like, what do you do then? A dream is that thing that keeps you running towards the light at the end of the tunnel. What do you do when you reach the dream of things? What do you do then? What do you do when you reach the dream of low-hanging fruit? What do you do then? A dream is something that's supposed to stretch you, make you pee on yourself a little bit, give you a little bit of anxiety, make you have to level up your team, your knowledge, your wisdom, your character. It's a thing that's supposed to keep you stretched. What do you do when you're not using your dream as oxygen? And how many of us on this call are suffocating? How do I know? Because that was me, Ryan.
Yeah.
That was literally me my whole life, knowing that I was born for something greater, but I didn't see the talent or skills in me. It wasn't affirmed in me because there was no outward expression of greatness. And so I stumbled upon it on accident by getting forced out of the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And that one dream of building what I'm building now and doing what I'm doing now has literally changed everything for my life.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, I've gotten emails from people who are like, man, I listened to the show. It's so great. I did work in this corporate job, and I was encouraged by this guest or this topic or whatever, and I just did it, man. I left the job and I started my business, and now I'm doing this thing, and that's like a huge it's a huge step of faith, and just an awesome step toward living the dream. This morning I had coffee with my buddy Topher, and he was telling me him and his wife are thinking about starting a new business. They've been traveling the country in an RV, and they run into people all the time. They're like, man, like, they've got their 3 kids in tow, and they're just seeing all the things, and just, their life has totally changed. They sold all their stuff a few months ago, and people are always saying, like, man, I would love to do that. I dream about taking my family on a trip like that, or I dream about being able to see all these things and, live in an RV for a little while and just experience this lifestyle. And he told me about a guy who's like 60, 65 years old, retired, and who had approached him and said, I love what you're doing. I can't do that anymore. Like my body, I've wanted to do that for a long time. And now that I'm retired and I've got the time, my body says no. Like I can't walk up, these trails and do these different things. And it just broke my heart this morning. Even this morning, I was like, man, like I don't want to be that guy that says, I wish I would have. It would be weird to step away, to get an RV and to, take this business on the road or whatever. That would be, it would disrupt all of the things here at the Coral House, at Tell Studios, at Studio Sherpas. But at the same time, like if inside of me there is this desire, because I can keep putting it off, like, oh, maybe I'll do that next summer, and like maybe I'll take the family across the U.S. The year after that, like because that might be the perfect time. There's not going to be a perfect time, right? But my point, I think, in all of this is when somebody has a dream and isn't taking the steps, isn't even clear on like what action steps, like how do I get there? How do I, like next summer, this is actually Ryan speaking, me. This is one of my dreams next summer, to take my family on a 3-week trip on an RV, to go out to Yellowstone, Yosemite, somewhere out west and do something that we've never done before. I want to do that, but I kind of wanted to do that this summer too, and it's not happening. So with all of the dreams and all of the people that want to do stuff that don't do it, that don't know how to do it, what is your best advice to say, okay, well, here's a great step. This is how you can activate this dream.
I love it, man. And I want to keep this very tactical, right? Talking about those of you who have a dream to build and to birth something in the area of your assignment, your purpose, your creativity, right? Number one, I want to talk to you about how to unlock those dreams, and then how you turn those dreams into results. Is that all right, Ryan?
Do it, man.
Okay, awesome. Listen, in order to unlock your dreams, you need to know this, that dreams are born when a person gets pregnant with purpose. Write that down if you're taking notes. If you're driving, pull over.
I'm actually writing that down. Right? I don't know if you're talking to me or
right. Dreams are born when a person gets pregnant with purpose, right? And this is how you know the difference between a dream of a thing and a dream that's connected to your purpose, right? Dreams are born when a person gets pregnant with purpose. Now, your purpose or your calling in life, it will always reveal to you an equation that can only be solved by committing your entire life to it, right? It's a math problem, right? There's a problem in the world that lights your soul on fire. And with your talents and skills, you can go into the world and create and be a part of the solution. That is the equation, right? A dream is nothing more than a vehicle that you can create, or a thing that you would do to solve this problem in the world if you had a blank check and unlimited resources, right? So if you're listening today and you want to unlock your dreams, you must first know what your purpose is, your assignment on the earth, right? And then here's the fun part. You have to sit down, carve out some time. This could be weeks, this could be months, this could be days, this could be you going away alone, spending a quiet day or weekend by yourself. Then once you know what your purpose is, then you have to sit down and you have to imagine and envision the most complete and efficient solution to the problem that you want to solve without putting limits on what is possible, right? I'm going to say that again. If you want to unlock your dream, number one, you must first understand what your purpose is, what you were born and created to do. And number two, you must carve out time where you can sit down and go imagine and envision the most complete and efficient solution for the people that you were called to serve, right? Without putting any limitations on what is possible. That is what we call a God-sized dream. One where you are not putting any limitations. You're not putting it in a box. You're not thinking of the great things that you could do and then you minimize it because it will sound stupid coming out of your mouth. No, this is how you unlock a dream, okay? So that's number one. Now, I'm not a guy who likes to talk about dreams without talking about action, right? Hence the word DreamDiver, which means you must think about the impossible, but you must get into action so that it can become a reality, right? So how do we put dreams into action so we get results? Here are 4 things, right? 4 things. I want you to write this down. I believe in transformation. If you're going to do it, you have to grow. And growth comes from learning, right? And so here are the 4 things you must do if you're going to turn your dream into reality. Number 1, you have to create what I call a CCV, a clear and compelling vision. Got to have one, right? Got to have a clear. I'm going to list them all and then we'll talk about them. A clear and compelling vision is number 1. Number 2, you got to have tangible goals, right? Got to have tangible goals. And number 3, got to have bold faith. Right? And then number 4, relentless execution. Right? Number 1, let's talk about it. Clear, compelling vision. Right? If you're going to build and birth and create something that's bigger than you, you are going to need to attract people into your life who can help you build what you cannot build on your own. Period. Nobody has ever built a God-sized dream on their own. Every God-sized dream requires a dream team. I don't care if they're taking out the trash or answering emails or actually putting hammer with nails and building the facility that you will operate in. You must have a team. And in order to attract a team, in order to attract resources for this God-sized dream, you have to show up with a clear and compelling vision. What is that vision? What are you building? Why are you building it? And what are the measurable building blocks that must go into place in order for this thing to come to life? Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, tangible goals, right? Number 1, the reason why most people never accomplish their dream, Ryan, is because they never break that God-sized thing down into manageable goals, tangible, that can be accomplished, right? You must break it down into tangible goals that people can come in along with yourself and actually accomplish something, right? You have to put in a foundation so that we can build a house around it. So these are the tangible goals, right? The steps that must be taken in order to complete this dream. Number 3 is bold faith. You have to be willing to do what has not been done. You have to be willing to be first. You have to be willing to be the last. You have to be willing to be the only. You have to be willing to get uncomfortable and live that way. Period. If you have a dream, and we talked about it earlier, there are no 2 dreams that are alike. They might have some synergy. They may have some connections, be interconnected, but none of them are alike, which means you're the first. So you have to be willing to run from safety and into having a no-net mentality, right? Talk about the great Nick Walinda, who was a high wire walker. Him and his family have this mindset of no nets. All right. What's the point of doing this if we're going to have a net? Either we're going to do it or we're not. And so you have to have this mentality of either I'm in or I'm out. Nobody ever changed anything, not their family, not their neighborhood, not their state or nation, by having 1 foot in their comfort zone and 1 foot in their dream. It has never happened. It will never be possible. And so if you're going to do what you've been created to do, you have to make a decision. There are no such thing as lukewarm greatness, right? You would not know Michael Jordan if he was lukewarm. You wouldn't know Kobe Bryant if he was lukewarm, or Simone Biles, or any of these great people, Steve Jobs. You wouldn't know any of them if they were lukewarm, holding on to their safety and trying to build what hasn't been built yet. It doesn't happen. It's impossible. Walt Disney left from where he was with $20 in his pocket, got on a train and came to California, right, to pursue his dream. What are you willing to have bold faith with, right? Big dreams require bold faith. It's just a math equation. And then last but not least, man, you want to turn big dreams into reality. You have to have relentless execution. I don't care how much you believe. I don't care how many lists you make and how much vision you have. If you don't get up and work and inspire other people to work alongside of you, nothing gets accomplished, nothing gets built. And it was all a waste. So don't ever be guilty of being called a dreamer. Your goal is to become a dream diver, somebody who dreams it and executes, knowing exactly what it is that they've been called to do, man. And so, Ryan, I hope that answers the question, is how do we make dreams a tangible reality?
Yeah, I love that, man. That's so good. I feel like one of the things that grinds me, is that how you say that? Annoys me, bugs me, is when people say, yeah, I want to do this thing, and they're not taking action, they're not doing the thing. But the reason why that grinds me is because I'm annoyed at myself for that, right? For the things that I really want to do. I'm like, if I really want to do that, then I would actually take action on that thing. So makes me ask the question, is this actually something, I'm saying the word actually, is this really something that I want to do? Like, because if it is, then I need to act on it. So I think that formula is, it's really helpful.
Let's talk about that real quick, Ryan.
Yeah.
Why is it that we don't act on the things that we ought to know that we need to, so that we can move forward? There's a few reasons. Number one is either A, you're not operating in purpose. That's big. That's the big one. You're operating, not you, but anybody in general. You're operating out of profitability. You're operating out of reputation. You're operating out of, this is always work. I'm comfortable. I'm safe. This is my job. This is my business. This is what I do. Hey, it works. I can do all the things that the Joneses do. So when you're not operating in purpose, you're always going to struggle with doing the things that need to be done to build whatever that needs to be built. That's number one. Number two is sometimes we are improperly positioned in our purpose and in our dream and in our enterprises, which means some of you are directing films when you're actually supposed to be executive producing. Some of you are editing movies and videos when you're actually supposed to be the one creating the vision or writing, right? And so you have to recognize that within your dream, within your vision, you are not all things. You are one thing.
Yeah, right.
You're not, and of course, we all start out in, because I've been there too. We all start off doing all of them, right? But you have to really know who you are in this equation and quickly become good and great so that you can bring the rest of the squad around you to grow this thing. So a lot of times we'll get frustrated and not do the things because you shouldn't be sending emails today. Actually, you should be on set because that's where you belong, right? And so there's some disconnect there. And then the last thing is fear.
Yeah.
We don't do the things that we need to do in our purpose and dreams because of fear. And let me be as specific as possible. Fear of everything. How's that for specific, right? We're afraid of everything, afraid of failure, not maximizing our potential, right? Not doing what we're supposed to do before we die, right? Other people's opinions, commitment, right? We're afraid of everything. And the truth is, the only way to get through those barriers and limiting beliefs is to take our eyes off of ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? We don't do these things because we're being selfish. That hurts somebody's feelings, but I'm not here to hurt your feelings. I'm just here to see you transform. We don't do it because we're thinking about us instead of thinking about the results for the people whose lives will be changed forever after we complete what needs to be completed, man.
Yep.
So I hope that added some value to somebody's life.
That's huge. I saw a video today my friend Brian posted, and I think maybe you guys were talking to each other today because he got on. He said, hey, it was his Instagram story. He's like, hey, you're probably you're not shooting videos of yourself because you don't like how you sound or you don't like how you look or you don't think. He's like, the problem is, how did he say it? You're letting your ego be more important than people. And you're getting in the way because this message that you have, this dream, this desire, this thing that you want to teach or share, you're letting yourself get in the way of freeing somebody else, empowering somebody else, inspiring somebody else because you don't like how your voice sounds or because your hair is crappy. And here's the thing. I've been in that same spot where I'm like, not looking too hot today. Maybe I'll wait till I, trim my beard, cut my hair, whatever. Or I wish I wasn't shooting in this on my iPhone. I wish I had my DSLR. So maybe I'll wait until I don't have a DSLR. My mirrorless camera. So I think that is really powerful. Take our eyes off of ourselves I love that. Thank you for imparting that. Well, so Ira, what you've got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
How can people connect with you and dive deeper into their dreams?
Man, I love it so much, man. So listen, I actually wanted to give people the opportunity to do just that, right? I just created and released a new 3-part video series, man. It's absolutely free because I want people to get a grasp and a grip on their lives so that they can do what they were created to do. Now, this 3-part series is called Made for Something Greater. It's called Made for Something Greater, right? And this is for the person out there who's listening. Like, listen, I'm tired of being stuck. I'm tired of being unfulfilled. I'm tired of going through the meaningless motions of life. I know that there's something greater in me. And I'm ready to be who I was created to be, and I'm ready to build what I was created to build. I just need somebody to help me get my footing, help me see what I can't see about myself, and show me a reflection of what's in me, right? That's the person that this is for, right? And in this video series, man, I'm literally going to teach you how to see the audacious possibilities for your life, right? Teach you how to overcome those deepest fears that you have that have been keeping you stuck in your comfort zone, right? And then I want to help you start to take the steps into the unknown to be who you were created to be. Super simple, man. And this is how you get it. All you got to do is go to my website, www.dreamdiver.co/something greater. dreamdiver.co/something greater. And I'm sure Ryan will put it in the show notes. But this is absolutely free. No gimmicks, no games. I'm a servant leader at heart. And before I take you up to 13,000 feet with me and we dive out of planes together, there's some things that have to happen in your head and in your heart to get you prepared to do the work of discovering your purpose and unlocking your dreams. And so if this conversation today has touched you to your core, you need to get this video series into your spirit, into your heart, so that everything that Ryan has been teaching you about what you do in this industry and everything that you heard today can collide together to create something that we can all run and tell the world about how great you are and the things that you've been able to do to serve other people, man. So, Ryan, that's it, man. Made for Something Greater, 3-part video series.
I love that. That's great. Thank you for sharing that with us. We will put that in the show notes. Ira, it's always an enormous pleasure to hang out with you, hear all the things that you've got going on. You're an inspiration to me, and I know to a lot of other people. So thank you. Really, really appreciate you, man.
Man, I appreciate you, Ryan. Thank you so much. And guys, if you're not following Ryan on all platforms, this is your fearless leader. You need to be following him on everything that has digital access because his insight and his wisdom is top-notch and bar none, man. So, Ryan, thanks for all you do, bro.
You're too kind. Thanks, Ira. Appreciate you, man, and we'll talk real soon.
Peace.
My friend, thank you so much for being here with me today. Seriously, it is an honor to serve you in this way. It is a joy to do this podcast. I don't know if we leave like all of my silly stumbling of words in these episodes, but whatever. Enjoy it. Make a meme of it, if you will, because I'm sure you have the time and desire to do that. Hey, if you're not inside of the Facebook group, the Grow Your Video Business Facebook group, get in there because we're doing, we did a live workshop a couple of weeks ago. Actually, that's the most recent episode. If you haven't listened to or watched that one, you can do that. We've got a YouTube channel where we've got the video versions of the podcast with the guests so you can see my amazing mullet. You guys know, did you know that I'm growing out a mullet? Yeah, so that's happening. And my guests are always shining and great looking and fun to watch. So there's that. I'm rambling. Am I rambling? I don't know. Regardless, get into the Facebook group. There's lots of value add in there. So just search Grow Your Video Business on Facebook and would love to see you inside there. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, Ryan@studiosherpas.com. You can email me. You can find me on the socials at Ryan Coral or at Grow Your Video Business. So there's all of the things. I am for you and excited to hear all the stories about how you're growing your video business and impacting the world in your little corner, wherever that's at. Not that it's a little corner, but we all have little corners of the world where we live and serve and all that stuff. So that's all I mean by that. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Get on with the rest of your day. Make it great, and we'll talk to you real soon. See ya.